According to mentalhealth.net, worldwide about 1% of the population is diagnosed with schizophrenia, and about 1.2% of Americans have this disorder. A lot of people have heard of schizophrenia, but they're not really sure what it is. The National Institute of Mental Health states that schizophrenia is a chronic and severe mental disorder that affects how a person thinks, feels, and behaves, and they may also seem like they have lost touch with reality. The onset is most commonly early adulthood, so between the ages of 16 and 25, and there are also different peak vulnerability developmental stages for men and women. For men, this usually occurs between the ages of 18 and 25, and there are two for women. The first is between ages 25 and 30, and then it can happen again at around the age of 40. According to Mental Health Daily, there are 5 different types of schizophrenia: paranoid, disorganized, catatonic, undifferentiated, and residual. The first type is paranoid. This is the most common type. This type experiences delusions or hallucinations in the form of voices, so they think people are conspiring or plotting against them. The voices that they hear may say mean things or curse at them, and the key symptoms for this type are delusions, hallucinations, and paranoia. This type responds very well to treatment with antipsychotic drugs, and after being on a treatment for some time, they may seem very normal. The second type is disorganized. The key symptoms for this type are disorganized behavior, speech, and thinking, and they also have very odd and bizarre behaviors. They tend to have difficulties with basic tasks that are a part of daily living. They may neglect to take care of themselves, and they have very odd emotional responses. So, for instance, in a very serious situation where maybe someone is crying, they tend to laugh. This type has a very early onset. It's usually between the ages of 15 and 25, and it's referred to as hebephrenia, which means during adolescence. The third type is catatonic. This involves catatonic stupor, negativism, immobility, and excessive motor activity. They have major reduction in overall activity and may appear frozen, which is what the catatonic stupor refers to. They also will have repetitive movements, so like body rocking, and they may experience waxy flexibility or rigidity, and they may also mimic speech and movements of others. The fourth type is undifferentiated. The key symptoms for this type are general schizophrenia symptoms, mixed symptoms, or nonspecific symptoms. This type has general symptoms, but they don't fit in the criteria of a subtype that I mentioned before, or they have symptoms that fall in multiple subtypes, so they can't really specify which type it is. These symptoms may fluctuate over periods of time also. The fifth type is residual. The key symptoms for this type are actually an absence of symptoms for a period of time. They do have at least one episode of psychosis, and they have the waxing and waning of symptoms, which is what the absence refers to. These patients can be in remission for up to a full year before experiencing symptoms again, or the symptoms may be completely non-existent for that entire year. The symptoms that they do experience, however, are usually delusions and hallucinations, but they're not as profound as the paranoid schizophrenic. To stay in remission with this type, it's very important to continue drug treatment, therapy, and making healthy lifestyle choices. Now I'll show you a little video of what it's like living with schizophrenia. A lot of people know what schizophrenia is, and
in the beginning, sometimes I heard one voice, other times I heard multiple voices.
I started having thoughts of harming myself. I needed help.
I thought, if I don't do something, to get some help, I'm gonna end up dying or something.
Society looks at schizophrenia either with indifference or fear. Both experiences are born of ignorance.
I don't know of any other illness that has the stigma attached to it that schizophrenia has.
Those stereotypes really bother me because I don't look at myself as a violent person. I don't have a split personality.
It's not a book written to tell you how and what to do as a dad or a mom.
People need to understand that these are people just like themselves.
We live normal lives. I live a normal life, for the most part at least.
many people have been touched by somebody who is living with this disease.
My hope for people with schizophrenia is that they find at least one person in their lives who will listen to them, respect their opinion, and lead them to the table, lead them to treatment.